Hello, welcome back to Send Him Off. My name is Sam, and joining me, as always, is my ever-present podcasting partner, Alex. Day three for us.
Day three,
Yeah,
day three. We're getting through it. We're getting through it,
wow,
boys.
trudging through
Siri's
them.
just come on, but what are you gonna do? I just turned my Siri on, so it's already
Consummate
gone to pot.
professional as
Yeah, I
always,
know.
as always.
Whatever. We're not. You're alone, Sam.
We're
I'm
not.
all over the place. I'm all over the place.
Yeah,
Sort
Alex,
it
sort
out.
yourself
I'll be
out,
back in
boy.
a bit.
Sort yourself out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're turning our attention to Wolves today, and we've got a returning guest from last year. He's made the cut again. Dave from Talking Wolves. Dave, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, very well. Thank you, boys. Thanks for inviting me again. Obviously,
No
I
worries.
was
Thank you
good.
for coming
I was
again, mate.
I was good enough last year, so I got the
Got the nod again.
invitation.
Yeah, another
Yeah.
call up. Definitely. Yeah, I think we'll start with last season. If you could sum it up in a sentence or a couple of words or a couple of sentences. How was Wolves this year last time?
Uh, could have been better, but could have been a lot worse. I think we did quite well. Started off the season really well, but the end of the season was just disastrous, really. So it's a shame because Europe was within touching distance, but in the end, it was just turned out to be a sort of boring mid-table finish.
What's going to be different this year?
I'm hoping more goals. We didn't score enough goals last year. It looks like our system has changed, or at least we're playing a completely new system in pre-season, which bodes well. So I'm hoping this year, although transfer-wise it hasn't been too busy, we're going to have the pretty much the same sort of squad. But I'm hoping that we're going to play more attacking football and hopefully start scoring some more goals.
Yeah, is
I got a question. No, I just
go
got
on.
one question. Well, actually, should I save this? I don't know. No, I'm gonna save this question for a bit later. Go on, Sam.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I've
I'm not
so
gonna ask it yet.
I've read today, Dave, that Israel Jimenez out. Is he injured?
Yeah, so
No.
he's out injured. He's going to miss the start of the season, and if only we had a backup striker because we'd loaned Fabio Silva out. We haven't got anybody else, a sort of proper number 9. We haven't got one in the squad, so I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't think the club will panic to bring anyone in before next Saturday. So it'll be interesting to see who starts up top next week.
Right now, I'm going to ask my question. What's the situation with Morgan Gibbs White?
I knew you were going to ask that because I'm sure you asked that last year as well.
Well, last year it was a bit is a bit different actually last year because there was a lot of championship outfits, going after him. But now almost everybody we've spoken to seems to be thinking that Morgan Gibbs White has got a chance to sign for them. So I don't know. And you were calling him Morg last year. You're like, oh,
Oh
Morg
yeah,
this,
me and
Morg
Morgan.
that. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, if anybody's gonna know, it's gonna be Dave. So come on.
I think he will be part of the Wolves squad this year. We've offered him a new deal because he's only got 2 years left on his current contract, and we've sort of been stung over the last year over players that have refusing to sign new deals. So we've offered him a new deal, but at the moment he's not signed it. But I think he just wants reassurances that he's actually going to be playing football. He's somebody like you would have seen at Swansea. All he wants to do is play football, and he got that last year for Sheffield United. But I think he was disappointed with Wolves when Nuno recalled him from Swansea, said you're going to play, get some game time, and he just didn't. So he had a really good preseason last year. I remember he started off the season. I was actually sat by his dad at the Forest Cup game last year. Purely coincidental. It's not like I got a ticket with him or anything. And that's what he said. He said he just wants to play football. So he had a really good year at Sheffield United, and he's had a really good preseason so far. He's even had the captain armband on for some of the games already this preseason. So I think it's going to be one of those. I don't think he'll sign a new deal yet. I think he'll just wait probably up until the winter break to see how much game time he's had. And I think if he's had a fair amount of game time, that's when he'll sign a new deal. But Wolves are holding out. They want at least 30 million if he was to go this summer. And I don't think many clubs, the clubs that are interested in him at least, won't take that punt just yet. I don't think.
Yeah,
Fair
definitely.
enough.
Is he a key guy you're looking out for this year if he does get a start? Or
I think so. I think Bruno Lage really likes him, and I think he'll be a key player. He's been playing off the right for us a lot in pre-season, but we've been playing like a 4-2-3-1, and if you'd have Pedence in the middle and Morgan on the right, they'd sort of swap, and it worked really, really well. We scored some nice goals, created some nice moves from it. So yeah, I would be very surprised if he doesn't start the first game of the season against Leeds.
interesting. He's going up in the world. I feel proud of him. I don't know why he's only here for about 4 months.
He was here for
So
rehab, wasn't he? So
he's
you know.
yeah. Is he the key guy then, if you like, or you're
If
looking towards
not,
the likes of
who-
Neto?
Yeah. I think Neto is at, he had a bad injury sort of the end of the last season and took him a while to get back to recover last year. I'd showed some okay spells, he scored on the final day of the season against Liverpool. But yeah, he's looked red hot this preseason already. I think he's probably got 5 or 6 goal involvements in sort of 3 or 4 games. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he can do. He still looks sharp and ultra quick. So I think, yeah, for sure, Neto. Neves obviously still here. None of us expected him to still be here come the start of next season. So it's good that he's here and playing well. But I think, yeah, Neto for me is one to look out for.
Yeah. Any sort of unsung heroes that are going under the radar?
I think,
anybody you think might not get the plaudits?
yeah, probably defensively, you've got Ait Nori, who's a really talented young player. Again, he's had a good preseason so far. Was linked with a couple of big teams already this preseason. I think Chelsea and Manchester City have both been linked with him. Kilman as well. I know he really, last year was his breakthrough season. He's probably, I think he's sort of 24 now, so possibly a little bit older than people actually expect. But last year was his breakthrough season, and unfortunately got injured towards the end of last year, so missed out on any chance of an England call-up. But I think if he starts well, I think for me, he's a cert to start. If he starts the season well, there's every chance that he might give Gareth Southgate something to think about before the World Cup.
I
Said
like
he's
him a lot.
24. He said he's
Yeah.
24. I'll be 24 in October now. And
No,
you're like,
but-
oh yeah, he's a
but-
little bit
what-
older than people
no.
expect. Like, oh no.
No, but what I mean by that is that like last year was his sort of first breakthrough season. So I think
Yeah, I
people
know.
expect him to be sort of 2021, but he's a couple of years older than that. But he's still young. He's still got loads of time left. Yeah.
Just go and fetch the walking stick now from the garage already. Great.
So,
Right,
in
where
terms
are
of,
we?
I don't know, Alex. I thought you were going to
There
ask
we
a
are.
question.
Yeah,
to be honest, mate. This is
No, I don't. I'm just trying to recover off the older, older than he thinks. But
there we are.
you
At his age, he needs a bit of time to gather his thoughts these days. So can we expect more of the same? My chair has just gone down.
It's gone to pot, hasn't it?
my-
This has
my
just been
chair
a
has
total
just
disaster.
Can we expect flipping
Oh my
heck.
gosh.
Can we expect more of the same from Wolves this year in terms of where they finished, or are you expecting them maybe to make a European push again, or do you think the lack of action in the market might just prove,
Out of-
I say fatal, but for a European spot, from
Out of everything you know now, what would you be like delirious with, I suppose?
Well, I think I've said it before. I think our first 11 is actually pretty decent and should be sort of in and around the top half. But our issue is as soon as we get any injuries, we've got absolutely no depth whatsoever. Like last year, we like I said, we were touching distance of Europe and just fell apart. We had no depth in certain areas, struggled to score goals. If we had something different coming off the bench, it could have provided us with something. We could have easily got into European football. I'll take a top half finish again. I think I don't think at the moment as we speak, I don't think we're strong enough to push for Europe. But if we can finish 8th, 9th, I would take that. There's fans, sort of neutral fans, talking about Wolves being beyond, in and around the relegation zone. I even as looking at the situation, I know at Wolves, I think that's laughable. I don't think we'll be anywhere near that, but hopefully we'll get a top half finish. We're strong enough to do that anyway.
Do you think the European Conference is a realistic goal?
Possibly. I think that's where a lot of fans wouldn't have minded finishing this year, to be fair, sort of that 7th, 8th spot. So I think it's realistic. You look at the clubs like West Ham and so on, but they're making good movements in the market, whereas we're not. So that's what's frustrating me a little bit. But yeah, there's no reason why we can't push for that anyway.
Fair play. Fair enough.
Definitely. Mentioned a change of system. So what can we expect when we're watching Wolves this year with this new system?
So obviously last year we played the 5 at the back again, like we saw with Nuno. I'm not going to say very defensive because I don't think we were sort of very defensive. Our defensive record was really good, but at the same time we just didn't score enough goals. So every game so far this preseason we've played a 4 at the back, played 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. So sort of the 4-3-3 would have Neves, Dendoncker, and Matinho in the middle, whereas the 4-2-3-1 would normally have Neves and Matinho, and then someone like Podence further up. So how we've been playing is that the defensive line is really high, so almost on the halfway line, and the fullbacks are pretty much other wingers. So when we're in possession of the ball, it's like we're playing two at the back, which can be risky, but I think it's a lot more rewarding going forward. And, you know, come the end of the season, I wouldn't mind seeing us concede a lot more goals as long as we're scoring a lot more goals as well. I think at Molineux, we saw, from a Wolves point of view, off the top of my head, we probably only scored less than 15 goals maybe at Molineux last season.
Wow.
And 4 of them were in one game when we beat Watford 4-0. Like, it was
How many clean sheets do you have, though?
off the top of my head, I can't remember the amount of clean sheets. We've got a decent amount, I think maybe 8 or 9 or something like that. But
That's not too bad.
But when you're paying to watch your team at home, you want to see attacking.
Yeah.
You want to see goals, don't you? And people working out how much they were paying per goal they saw at Molineux, and it just wasn't yeah, that's all I want really. It's more exciting football.
Definitely. That would be good, because I always enjoyed watching Wolves when you first came up. And last year I felt there was a little bit of a lull. It was a transition season though, really. But there was one where, you know, it was a season where if Wolves were on TV before, I think I would have switched them on. But last year I watched them a couple of times and I was a bit like, then it's not quite what it used to be. But like you said, you know, new system now. Maybe this is, you know, the new guy, Bruno Lage, getting his game plan in, and, you know, he's had a year to bed at him. It's basically what we've seen down at Swansea. Well, is, you know, the coaches had a full year to bed it in. This is the second year, and we're going to see the system fly. So hopefully, from a neutral point of view, it'd be lovely to see, like, because that top 4 is really crowded now. It'd be lovely to see like 6 to 9. Like really, really crowded as well.
I think I'm going to be more interested in that sort of like 5th place to 9th, 10th place, to be honest with you. That like top 10, between top 10 and top 4. I'm going to be more interested in that because, I mean, top 4 is kind of written in a, you know,
bar 1 or 2, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, bar 1 or 2. But yeah, that sort of 5th place to 10th it's anyone's game really. Even the positioning, it could go to anyone. So yeah, we'll see.
Interesting. So you've given us the expectation or what you'd be happy with. We've had your key player, we've had the underrated player, we've heard all about the new style. Given that new style, do you want to give us a little prediction? Put your neck on the line for us
and tell give us a number.
Where Wolves are going to finish this season.
I've said earlier today at 8th, which I think is probably the top end of my expectations. With the current squad, I can't see us finish any higher. Hopefully they prove me wrong, and hopefully we do. But yeah, I'm going with 8th. I think that's me being pretty positive, to be fair.
We said 9th in our prediction, so it's, you know, but again, it was, you know, in place of Newcastle. So if you finished above Newcastle, we wouldn't be surprised again.
Yeah, well, there's teams like that. There's like West Ham, ourselves, Newcastle, Villa have strengthened again. Brighton had
even
really
United. Even United are in that category now.
So there's a lot of teams in and around there that can push, but I think it's just the key bit is going to be before the World Cup. I think who can get the best start, and because, you know, you don't want to be trying. Our start to the season is pretty favourable. We've got a lot of teams that I would expect to finish in the bottom half of the table, so it's just up to us to try and get kicked off as quick as we can.
Yeah,
sure.
So there we are. You mentioned the striker issue just before we go. If you had control of the transfers now, and you could pick a realistic transfer, you know, don't give me Haaland and all that, right? No. If you could choose a player or two to bring in, 2 strikers to choose from.
But first of all, just a little caveat to that: how much would you spend? What kind of money are we looking at? And then who would you bring in?
So it's a difficult one with Jimenez. Do you go and splash a lot of money on someone that's going to obviously make Jimenez almost the backup, or do you get someone that's sort of on par with him, which is the difficult decision? But I mean, the only striker we've been linked to recently is Christian Benteke, which I don't think a lot of Wolves fans are happy with, to be honest. We've been linked with Ben Yedder from Monaco, which would be a phenomenal signing, I think. I think you're probably looking sort of 20, 25 million-ish for him. Trying to think anybody else. It's sort of maybe Broha from Chelsea. I know he's looking at possibly leaving, whether it be on loan or permanent, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Wolves try and go in for him now with the Jimenez situation. But yeah, Armando Broja from Chelsea, someone like that. Someone's quite physical, could bring the ball down, play with it a little bit, bring other players into play. I think that's what Wolves need.
There we are. So
okay,
that's the official verdict. There we are, David. So it's always a pleasure
for the new striker.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Always a
crossed.
pleasure chatting to you, mate. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us again. Do you want to
Appreciate
tell
it.
everybody where they can find you on social media, where they can listen, where they can find everything you do? Because I know you are up to quite a lot these days.
No, it's fine. Yeah. So Talking Walls is pretty much at Talking Walls everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and my own stuff as well at Dave as a Party on Twitter, which is DAVEAZZOPARDI.
Lovely.
He's
That's
rehearsed,
poetic,
hasn't he?
that one. Does that in front of the mirror every day. There we are, Dave. Absolute pleasure. No doubt we'll be seeing you next year, because I don't think there's much danger of relegation, as you said earlier. But
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
well, fingers crossed. Don't say it, Alex, because Alex is the kiss of death.
Yeah, if I do it, you're going down, I'm afraid. Sorry.
So, yeah.
So I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Hopefully we'll see you next year. Best of luck for the season, mate, and we'll catch you soon. Thank you guys for listening as well. It's been a pleasure. Another one under the belt.
Another one done.
I don't know how many more we've got to go, but it's quite a few. And we've got quite a long night ahead of us. So
Yes,
we'll
we
catch
do.
you on the next one. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon. Ta-ra.
Take care.